This is a 1440p gaming monitor, features G-Sync, it's 165Hz, and it's actually pretty awesome, so let's take a look. Starting off with the specs, as I said, it's a 1440p monitor, which is 2560 by 1440, also runs at 165Hz when fully overclocked, which is very impressive for gaming. It's also an IPS type panel, which means you have fantastic viewing angles. You also have a 4 millisecond quoted response time, which seems to be pretty accurate, and also a very nice overall experience. Also being IPS type, you do have some very nice color reproduction here. You also have NVIDIA's G-Sync, so if you're using a 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti or Titan X, then those are all very impressive cards to use with this monitor. You also have ultra low motion blur as well for people who are interested in that sort of thing. Taking a look at the monitor, you can see that style is something ViewSonic have done pretty well here. I'm overall pretty impressed with the looks of it. You do have quite a lot of green accents, mostly to do with the NVIDIA G-Sync technology built into it. Obviously the green accents on the cable management hole at the bottom and on the front facing side of it, a green lip at the top and down the bottom. And when you take a look at the back of the monitor, you'll also be pleasantly surprised that that's also pretty stylish too. I'm genuinely impressed with the look of the back of the monitor. It's something you might not necessarily be looking at on a regular basis. It's still quite nice to know that it is pretty cool looking. One of the other things to mention is that on the back of the monitor, specifically on the stand, you actually have a fold-out headphone hanger as well, which may not be in the best place for a lot of people who put their monitors up against a wall. That means that you won't necessarily be able to use that feature, but if you do have your desk that isn't, right up against the wall, then the headphone hanger might be a nice place to hang your, audiophile grade headphones. The monitor has quite a lot of adjustability, starting with 100mm of height adjust. Quite a lot of monitors normally have about 150 to 130mm of height adjust, but this is perfectly fine if you're doing minute adjustments, and the same goes for the 15 degrees to -5 degrees of tilt that the monitor also offers. You do technically have 175 degrees either way of swivel, although this isn't the best implementation of this and can get a bit sort of sticky as you're turning it around, but the option is there if you do need to move it. You do also have 90 degrees of rotational axes available if you want to put it in portrait mode, which is quite a nice option, especially if you have multiple of these monitors. While we have it up in portrait mode, we can take a look at the I/O. This is actually fairly limited as it's an NVIDIA G-Sync monitor, which means you're primarily going to be using that DisplayPort 1.2a connection that's on there to connect to your NVIDIA graphics card, but you do also have an HDMI port if you want to plug in consoles or any other PCs there too. You do also have a USB 3 hub on the bottom, as well as an extra 2 USB 2 ports on the side for some extra expandability if you do need to use that. Just below those USB 2 ports you have the menu buttons. Now these aren't the best buttons I've ever pressed in my life, but they're certainly not the worst. They do the job quite well. I want to make it clear that the actual sort of insignias or the logos that are on the front facing side don't really correlate to anything besides just the rough button position. You need to refer to the on-screen menu sort of icons to see what button you're pressing and why, and they do change around sometimes, which does mean a little bit of a disjointed user experience there. I much prefer ASUS's offering for this with the sort of hat switch that they have. That's much easier to use. On the menu side of things though, it is fairly nicely laid out. You do have a decent number of settings in there, and make sure that you are running G-Sync and you are running at 165Hz in the settings as well as in Windows 2. Moving on to the panel, I was actually really impressed with the overall quality. There was fairly little backlight bleed, which is actually really nice considering that the competitor to this monitor is the Asus PG279Q, which is notorious for backlight bleed, or Acer's XB271HK. That also is a little bit better than the Asus, but still is often rife with backlight bleed, so a very impressive monitor here. In terms of colour accuracy, while I don't actually have a colour tester, to the eye it's a very impressive looking monitor. It's very nice to view images, and I expect that if you are planning on doing any colour sensitive work, this wouldn't be too bad a shout, although obviously this is definitely geared more towards gaming. On the gaming side of things, I was incredibly impressed with this experience. Running at 165Hz for the GTX 1070 and with G-Sync on was an incredibly smooth, just utterly fantastic experience, and if you can afford this sort of monitor and have something like a 1070 or 1080 or 1080 Ti, I highly recommend you take a look at it. It's a fantastic experience. I really cannot recommend it anymore. Overall, as I said, especially playing Doom, even when playing Dirt Rally, I did feel that the refresh rate being a little bit higher and overall having 1440p as opposed to 1080p was a really nice upgrade as such, because I'm generally gaming on 144Hz at 1080p at the moment, so especially adding G-Sync as well, which is just a fantastic experience, and I do highly recommend it. The main things that I would probably consider if I was going to buy this monitor is what sort of games I'm going to be playing. If you're playing games, FPS games, stuff like Overwatch or CSGO, or even stuff like Battlefield 1, then this is probably more for you than it is for someone who primarily plays racing games or stuff that isn't necessarily going to benefit from 165 Hz. Stuff like RTS strategy games where you don't necessarily need millisecond precision. But for me, if you want a really impressive, really smooth experience, then I do highly recommend it. I think the other thing to mention is that this is quite an expensive monitor. You're looking at over £700 in the UK, and I suspect over $700 in the US as well. So while it does sit fairly close to, if not basically the same price as ASUS and Acer's offerings, it still does have that fairly high price tag that you would have to consider. Another thing to mention is obviously the GPU horsepower required to run at 165 Hz or 165 FPS at 1440p is going to be fairly high, so you will need something like a 1070 or 1080 or 1080 Ti if you really want to run one of these. So moving on to scoring, I have to give this, I think, a 3.5 for my money. In terms of performance, I was really blown away by how impressive this is, so I'm going to give it a 5 here. In terms of functionality, I'm going to go with a 4 because it's missing a lot of display inputs that could really be useful if you are planning on doing anything other than just connecting it to an NVIDIA-based gaming PC. But in terms of styling, I'm going to go with, I think, a 4 as well. In terms of technical score, I'm going to go with a 4.5. I've got to say, I have to give it the Gold Award. It's a really impressive monitor. If you want a high refresh rate, relatively high resolution monitor, and you have the sort of money to spend on this, then this is actually a pretty good buy. And despite the menu system not being quite that great, I think for me, it kind of wins over the ASUS PG279Q, at least in terms of quality from this specific monitor, although you will have to take a look at other reviews to make sure that that isn't just my specific sample and, not kind of cherry-picked in some way, so do bear that in mind. If you're interested in picking up one of these monitors, I'll leave a couple links in the description down below for you, as well as more general Amazon and Overclockers UK affiliate links. It'd be awesome if you could use those links when you're buying stuff on those places. It genuinely helps me out, it supports the channel, keeps the links on and all that sort of stuff, and it's completely free to use. All you have to do is click the link before you can actually buy stuff. So if you can do that, that'd be fantastic. The other things you can do to support the channel are, of course, subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you enjoyed about the video, or if you didn't, feel free to let me know too, and what you think about the monitor. Otherwise, the best thing you can do is actually share the video. If you enjoyed it, please do that wherever you can, whether that's on Reddit or tech forums, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you fancy, please do share it where you can. And otherwise, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to check out some of the other ones I'm going to leave over here for you, and the subscribe button over on this side if you haven't already clicked it. If you have, feel free to let me know in the comments down below as well. And otherwise, yeah, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all in the next video. This is a 4K monitor, and this video should hopefully tell you and explain why some of the myths that you might have heard about 4K gaming aren't necessarily true. The first one I'm going to cover is that 4K gaming is
steel meets steel. We're renegades, let's regulate, let's finish this ordeal. We are defenders, the almighty. We stop the trail where no one dares to go. We are the brave, let's keep on fighting. Protect the sacred vow. Trapped into a corner, silence fills the air. The dark abandoned city streets is now the dragon's lair. A scream across the heavens, a sound to heed the call. Protectors of the universe, ready to play ball. Fear the sound of metal, the sweetest sound of all. We're flying high up in the sky, a mighty fireball. We are defenders, the almighty. We stop the trail where no one dares to go. We are the brave, let's keep on fighting. Protect the sacred vow. The first god spilled blood in the gutter. The second cut blinded his eyes. The third cut gave us all the